So 4 of our 5 finals have been completed. 2 titles so far to China, 1 to Indonesia and 1 to Korea. Can China make it 3 titles, or can the Malaysian Lee Chong-wei make it 3 consecutive All England titles? Because of course he's won for the last 2 years.
Are you ready? Let's have a massive welcome for the athletes in the men's singles final. From Malaysia, the #1 seed, Lee Chong-wei.
The 2-time defending champion in his 4th consecutive All England final, Datuk Lee Chong-wei.
And let's have a massive welcome for his opponent from China, the #2 seed, Lin Dan.
So the toss of the coin by the umpire. The final everyone was hoping for. The defending champion, the world #1, against the reigning world and Olympic champion. So Lee Chong-wei, the world #1, he's been world #1 since the 21st of August 2008. He hasn't lost so far this year. His 2 titles so far this year, the Korean Super Series and then the Malaysian Super Series event, in fact winning his 8th Malaysian Open title. He has a phenomenal record of consistency, and as you can see from his matches so far in this year's All England Championships, all of them won in 2 straight games. His semi-final against the #8 seed, the 2006 beaten finalist here at the All England, Lee Hyun-il, 21-19, 21-18 in 44 minutes, but his longest match was in the 2nd round against the Dane Hans Christian Vittinghus. Had to save 2 game points in that first game before he came through 23-21. So Lin Dan, the 28-year-olds from Fuzhou in Fujian province on the east coast of China. The world #2, but of course he has been world #1, achieved that status in March 2004. 11-2 his win-loss records for the year, because of course he lost in the final of the Korean Open to his opponent of today, and also lost in the second round of the Malaysian Super Series to Jan Jorgensen. But Lin Dan, known around the world as the big match player, his matches so far against a former Olympic champion in that quarter-final, Taufik Hidayat's very, very comfortable second game, and in the semi-final against the 2010 beaten finalist Kenichi Tago of Japan. So in head-to-head meetings, an overwhelming advantage for Lin Dan. And the last time, of course, they met, that final of the Korean Open, when Lee Chong-wei won in 3 games. While everybody was hoping for this final, the dream matchup, the defending champion against the former champion, the world #1 against the world champion. Lin Dan, of course, has won this title on 4 separate occasions. This his 8th final in 10 appearances at the All England Championships, going back to 2002. As a 19-year-old, he reached the semi-final. Well, in their previous encounters, when you take into account all their tournaments, including the Asian Games, which don't go towards world ranking, this is the 30th meeting between the two men in international competition. And of the previous 29, Lin Dan has won 20 of them. So our umpire from England, service judge from Sweden. Well, the support for the Malaysian overwhelming the Malaysian fans, drowning out the Chinese fans. So the world #1, the defending champion, nearest to us, Lee Chong-wei of Malaysia. And that's landed in. And of course, Lee Chong-wei in his 4th consecutive All England final, trying to achieve something that only 6 other players have ever achieved, winning 3 consecutive titles. But in the modern era, there's only been 3 men to have achieved that: Rudy Hartono, Erlen Kops and Wong Kim Soon of Malaysia. When we left the National Indoor Arena yesterday evening, the Malaysian fans were outside this magnificent arena, and my goodness, they were in fine voice then, but they're even louder now. Now, Anthony, there was some slight concern about Lee Chong-wei. We've heard rumours that there's a problem either with his right shoulder or right hand, but he was absolutely determined to play today. Oh, it's a lovely angle from Lindan.
Just going back to that point, Jill, it just shows the nature of the man. You know, so many people in this arena and around the world want to see this matchup. You know, a lesser player may have, taken it on board that there is a bigger picture this year. And maybe, perhaps because of injury, perhaps shouldn't have played this game, but nothing like that from Lee Chong-wei. He wants to go out there and perform and play well and give this crowd the show that it really deserves to do. Bit of a scrappy start to this match so far. I think both players have so much respect for one another that almost trying to play the shuttle too tight to the lines, too tight to the net, and we've seen quite a few mistakes so far.
Yeah, and there's another, just wide. But we are getting glimpses already of the explosive speed from Lindan. We've got his explosive attacking play against the wonderful court coverage of the Malaysian. Always makes for an intriguing battle. Oh, he's put it wide. Well, it's called wide. Lee Chong-wei doesn't agree with the line judge. No overrule from the umpire. Oof. Well, make your own minds up. Oh, what an incredible disguised drop shot from Lee Chong-wei.
Just shows there's a lot of tactics going into this match. Lots and lots of clears. Very, very good length from both players. They both know that if they go for the attack too early, the defence is so good, they put themselves under pressure.
Incredible defence. Well, I thought the last occasion that these two men played against each other in the final of the Korea Super Series, the first Super Series event of the year and the first Premier event of the year, I thought Lee Chong-wei's mental strength, having lost the opening game, was quite remarkable. And I think an awful lot of today's final is going to be about the mental approach and whether you can see that Lee Chong-wei's shoulder is heavily strapped, whether that injury plays on his mind. There's the explosive power.
I think between these two great players, it is all about the mental strengths. You know, they're both capable of beating one another, but it will always go down to that who wants it more on the day.
not sure I agree with you there, Anthony. I think it's all about who can cope with the pressure. I don't think there's any question about these two men's desire. They both desperately want this title. They also desperately want to get the psychological advantage over the other prior to the Olympic Games later this year. He creates so much power, does Lindan, with virtually no backswing of his racket. That drive, phenomenal.
His racket skills are second to none. I mean, the shot he played from the net there was almost like a double action, but with, like you say, such a small backswing. And then his power was such small, just incredible.
I think a fault has been called. Lindan can't believe it. Well, he's turned to look at the giant screen. But the replays aren't shown, I don't think, on the giant screen. Now he's faulted for taking the shuttle before it crossed the net. And what a good call by the umpire. Malaysian back level. Malaysian coaches Tesi Bok and Rashid Sadek. Tesi Bok on the right as we look at them. Unbelievable. That was the one that did the damage. And then the final smash absolutely powered home. And the 1 point advantage here at the mid-game interval. Xuanzhe, one of the Chinese coaches, of course, won the world title in this very arena. couldn't reproduce it a second time. That cross-court backhand.
He's a little bit lazy from Lee Chong-wei. We're not used to seeing him play two backhands. Don't normally see him play two backhands in a game, never mind in one rally.
Yeah, and a little look and a little shrug of that right shoulder, trying to loosen it up. Well, error on the low serve. 11-13. And no wonder he's disappointed with that.
That's two very slack points from Lindan. There's been quite a lot of mistakes in this game so far. I'm not used to seeing this from these two.
Oh, that is tremendous. His movement to what we call that round the head shot, when a shuttle is played deep into a player's backhand corner, but they still play with the overhead action. And to get back so smoothly, to be able to play that cross court, it really is incredible. Brilliant. Well, Lee Chong-wei seemed a little bit slow to get up from his dive. 15-12. Oh, he just watches it.
I'm not sure. Just looking at the body language between the two players.
Yes, it's concerning, and what is very concerning is that Lee Chong-wei has called for the tournament referee, and I wonder whether in fact he's going to continue. Yeah, he's having a quick word with his coach at the back of the court. Is Lee Chong-wei. And the tournament doctor, Dr. Ashwin Patel, has come onto court. Now this is very, very concerning for Malaysian fans.
I can give you some spray, huh?
Now, whilst it's standard practice that some cold spray is allowed, officially you're not allowed treatment in badminton. Well, he's obviously in distress. Well, this really is very, very concerning. Well, I think there'll be a slight delay because the umpire's computer, scoring computer, appears to have crashed, and therefore will continue. Oh, well, Lindan, he certainly won't feel sorry for Lee Chong-wei if Lee Chong-wei is struggling with injury worries. There's running repairs going on to the umpire's computer. Oh my goodness, yeah, he's annoyed at that. Understandably so.
13-16.
It's a second error on the low serve from Lindan. That's a wonderful angle, and I guess if there is a shoulder problem, he'll be trying to bring down those steep angles more than using his power smash.
If there was ever a player that could win a match like this without having to smash, it's Lee Chong-wei. He's got so much variation overhead that he doesn't always need to hit the big smash. Obviously that showed that, you know, Lindan had to dive on one occasion to get the steeper one.
There's nothing wrong with his legs because the speed going forward was incredible.
15-16.
Oh, he went for it again.
Service over. 17-15.
He's taken on board a very, very difficult shot there. He's tried to almost kill it with a reverse on the backhand side. Takes a lot of skill and control.
Oh, that's, yeah, I was going to say that's going out. I thought he was going to play it for a moment.
Service over. 16-17.
Well, he's pleased with that as Lindan. Nod of approval from Xuanzhe.
Service over. 18-16.
Both of these players' speed off the mark is just absolutely phenomenal. Whenever they hit a great slice down to the side, the speed that they generate once they get into that net, there's no other player in the world that can do that other than these two.
Yeah, he is in physical distress, isn't he?
Service over. 17-18.
Oh my goodness. It's gone wide. level. Oh, it's called out. Well,
Service over.
I have to admit, I was surprised by that.
19-18.
Oh no, it was a good call. Just going for the acute angle rather than the big smash.
Service over. 19-all.
Most players just wouldn't have the ability to be able to put the shuttle on the floor against Lindan without having that extra power. Just shows how good Lee Chung-wei really is.
Oh, the luck of the net cord, for which Lindan immediately apologises. But he created his own luck there, stepped forward, took the shuttle early. Look at that.
Service over.
It's game point now
19.
to the Olympic champion. Wow. Lee Chung-wei has thrown his racket to the ground in utter disbelief at the call. Well, once again, no overrule from the umpire. Well, I have to say, looking at it again, I think once again the line judge was correct. Look, he's not a happy man, is he, Lee Chung-wei? Not only because he's lost the opening game, but also because of the injury worries as well. Well, he's calling for the tournament doctor again, is Lee Chung-wei. And this would be absolutely tragic if he can't continue. Dr. Ashwin Patel just waiting for the nod from the tournament referee, Charlotte Ackerman. Well, real concerns about Lee Chung-wei. Doctor has just applied more cold spray to his shoulder. Well, this doesn't look good, I have to say.
Level. Play.
Well, if the injury is playing on his mind, apart from the physical problems, if it's playing on his mind, I mean, that's really pretty drastic, isn't it? Because, I mean, to beat Lindan, the reigning world and Olympic champion, you have to be 100% focused, 100% belief, and if your mind is scrambled by worrying about the shoulder, I think the chances of winning this are pretty remote.
Sometimes, Gerald, you can have an injury and that can actually help you, makes you concentrate on something slightly different, but you can see the pain on Lee Chung-wei's face, and he really is struggling, and to focus on obviously beating Lindan as well as going through the pain barrier is almost too much.
3 love.
Well, he doesn't miss many of those, Lindan. In Lee Way, he was so far out of position and had virtually given up on the rally. The lift from Lee Chong-wei, woefully short, and therefore got what it deserved from Lindan.
Just creating a thing of doesn't really know what to do, Lee Chung-wei. You know, he's running out of ideas. He's in terrible pain.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if he doesn't call it a day. Yes, well worked rally by the Malaysian.
Service over. 2-5. Thank you.
Yes, and Anthony, you were talking a little earlier about the body language, and Lindan, after playing that winner, did a little run around the court there. He's obviously very buoyant in his own mind about his prospects here, and I think Lee Chong-wei is going to call it a day. Once again, calling for the doctor. Well, every single overhead. He's calling it a day. Enough is enough. Disappointment from the crowd. Well, what a tragic way for Lee Chong-wei to end his reign as All-England champion. Champion for the past 2 years, of course, was going for a third consecutive title. It's not to be. Of course, this is a big year for both men. Olympic Games for all badminton players. The ultimate in badminton, the Olympic title. And the bigger picture, as Anthony Clark was saying a little earlier, perhaps more important than the All-England title. So Lindan is champion at the All-England once again. His 5th All-England title to go with those won in 2004, 6, 7 and 9. Well, that really is tragic. Well, one thing is certain in my mind is that the injury is really quite severe, because this man never ever gives up without a real fight. So, swapping the shirts.
So let's make some noise for our 2012 champion, Lindan. Lindan, what does this title mean to you?
林丹，请问一下，这个奖项对你来讲有什么特殊的意义吗？
我其实来全英已经打了很多年了，我非常的开心，今年我又能够继续的取得自己更好的成绩。当然，我觉得非常感谢所有给我支持的中国朋友，谢谢你们。
I've been playing the Yonex All England Open for several years, and I'm very happy to get the champion today as well. And I really need to give my special thanks to my crazy fans from China.
It was a shame though that Lee Chongwei had to retire and you had to win it this way.
就是因为李宗伟他受伤而这样赢，你会不会觉得有一些遗憾呢？
我觉得其实今天第一局我们打的都挺好的，当然我觉得我希望这个伤病对他不会有太大的影响，因为他要代表马来西亚出征奥运会，所以我希望他。
I think we played a good, and I think we played well in the game, in the first game. But I don't think the injury would affect him too much because we're going to meet in the Olympic Games again.
Let's hear it for our champion, Lindan!
Well, Lindan saying that he hopes that they'll meet again in the Olympic Games. Well, it's a bit of disappointment for Lee Chongwei, and I know that he'll be desperately upset about this, but it is a big year, as we've said, of the Olympic Games. And of course these two men met in the Beijing Olympic final, and I'm sure there's an awful lot of fans around the world who would love to see a repeat of that final in London later this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the presentations for the Yonex All England Open Badminton Championships men's singles. And to make the presentations, please welcome Zhang Qiong, Director of Sports Marketing at Red Bull China, and Ben Yoneyama, President of Yonex. To thank our officials, Ben Yoneyama, President of Yonex, will now award commemorative medals to the umpire Elaine Clough of England and her service judge Per Orke Andersen of Denmark. Ladies and gentlemen, our runner-up in the men's singles, Lee Chongwei from Malaysia.
Well, his fourth consecutive final has ended in disappointment for Lee Chongwei.
To Lee Chongwei. Ladies and gentlemen, our runner-up in the men's singles, Lee Chongwei. Please welcome our winner onto the podium, the 2012 Yonex All England Open Men's Singles Champion, Lindan from China.
His fifth All England title his 49th title in total. His 17th Super Series.
At Red Bull China will present a bottle of Heidseck & Co. Monopole champagne and an Osim Euphoria, the world's first tweener leg massager. I shall now present the winner's medal.
Well, a second hug there.
Well presents the trophy to our winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Yonex All England Men's Singles Champion from China, Lindan!
Lifts the cup aloft. His 5th All England title. The 2 best men in world badminton. Oh, it was an awful shame that the match could not be completed. But Lindan's victory means that China take 3 titles at the 2012 All England Badminton Championships.